Hello, good evening and welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime. I am Beverly Brom. We go straight into the stories now. And the much talked about cylinder recirculation model is set to take off tomorrow, September 1, 2023. This was after the National Petroleum Authority embarked on an industry engagement after some initial opposition to the program. Details in the following report.
The initiative seeks to centralize the distribution and sales of LPG in the country for domestic use. It will allow consumers to exchange empty cylinder for a filled one at a specific location. The model will be rolled out first in the Greater Accra and Ashanti regions before it is extended to other parts of the country. Joy Business understands that the National Petroleum Authority has reviewed an earlier directive that permits only the Ghana card to be used as a form of identification for the program. It will now accept other forms of national identification. The authority also revealed that there will be a 3-year transition period for the model. This should mean that the first 3 years of the program will be used to address all the challenges about the initiative before it fully takes off.
Now, research leader GCB Capital Courage Buti is urging government to brainstorm and find innovative ways of taxing the informal sector. Government has placed new restrictions on borrowings by state-owned enterprises and other entities to check the country's rising debt, a move Courage Buti describes as prudent. He suggests government should turn their attention to the informal sector, which represents about 80% of the Ghanaian workforce. He spoke earlier on the marketplace.
Borrowing has never been bad. If you're borrowing for a project that can self-sustain or can pay for itself, then there is no problem. We can talk about examples of things like your Terminal 3 project. If you are borrowing to do a Tema motorway and then you put a toll on it, and then where you could, the proceeds from that tolling can go into servicing the debts, there is no problem. If you are borrowing to do any other social project, then you must weigh the cost versus the benefits. And if we are doing a kilometer of road, the question should be, is this for political consideration or it has some economic consequence? Of course, not everything can have economic consequence, really. I mean, a road in probably some hinterland may not pay for itself through some commercial activity, but we need to balance that so that projects become on need basis and those with commercial viability, they take precedence, whereas the very social ones that do not have immediate social benefit and immediate commercial benefits, you could moderate how much of those you do. We balance our development strategy that we could be earning money from the commercial ones, which can go into paying for the extremely social projects that we are undertaking. And then we need to look at domestic tax revenue mobilization. And by this, I do not mean raising the tax rate. It has been the common catch whenever we talk of tax, but then it is easier said, I must admit, that expanding the tax base, expanding the tax net is very easy to say, but then the practice of it is actually where the challenge is. And I would expect that going forward, we brainstorm and find innovative ways to get the informal sector players to pay their bet, including the artisans, who we could easily find innovative ways to get into the tax net. The e-levy hasn't done it, but what else could do it? We need to look at that, because if we could even expand the current revenue base by a 30-40% on a sustainable basis, which is feasible given the large size of the informal sector, we may cut our borrowing needs by a significant percentage, really. So we need to look at those means also of trying to reduce the debt burden.
Now, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Ituahene has said operationalizing the Ghana Financial Stability Fund is a positive move. Government has set the end of September this year as the new date for the Ghana Financial Stability Fund to take off. Now, reacting to this development, Dr. Ituahene admonished government to concentrate on distributing the funds primarily to domestic banks to support economic growth.
I always go for the indigenous Ghanaian banks. Why? The reason why is some literature, a paper that I have done, have shown that some of the banks, the foreign banks have already started. I can mention Stanbic, FNB, Zenith, They've already they have begun the process already refinancing and recapitalizing some of the banks. And don't forget, it is the domestic banks that suffered heavily. Yes, the indigenous bank really suffered heavily. So for me, we should focus on the domestic bank or the indigenous bank and let the foreign-based bank take care of them, because they've already started it. And I'm sure by the Capital Plan Requirement Bank of Ghana said, I'm sure all the foreign banks have submitted their capital plan. So it is the domestic bank that will have a lot of challenges. So let us concentrate. You see, we have to concentrate, because one thing we should learn from this crisis is that let us build a strong domestic institutions. I'll take you one example. Have you ever heard a Ghanaian bank operating in the Nigerian domestic banking system? Absolutely nothing. Have you ever heard a Ghanaian operating in the South African system? Absolutely nothing. They built Chinese wall around their banking system, makes it very difficult for you to penetrate. But for our case, it is easier for them to come. So that is why they have already started recapitalizing it. And we have to do that so that we can also build a strong domestic banking sector that will keep the economy running. Other than that, a time will come, as we have done to the mining sector and the telecos, we'll be selling our birthright to the foreign institutions. And when they make their money, I mean, they do so many things to get the monies out. So I believe that as a country, let us support indigenous institutions like the banking sector.
Moving on, the Ghana Revenue Authority has closed down Tropical Enclave Hotel in Osu and arrested the manager of the facility for failing to issue VAT receipt to clients. The authority has also arrested the manager for Golden Crystal at East Legon. This is part of the VAT enforcement exercise by the GRA. Here's Area Manager of Enforcement, Assistant Commissioner Joseph Anan, addressing the media after the exercise.
I'll be issuing your own invoices from 2021. You can't do it.
When you are ready,
yes, our march is so on to help shore up revenue collection for government. So we are still on our test patches and compliance and enforcement exercise. Today, our journey took us to Osu, and we went to Tropical Enclave. They are doing non-issuance of the invoice. That is the infraction. Then we went to Golden Crystal, and then they are issuing their own invoice. It's the same non-issuance. Then we went to Hilton View Hotel. They are not registered. East Legon, they are at East Legon. Then from there, we came to Brands Less for Kids. Brands Less for Kids. They are not registered. And they are at East Legon. We came to Party Tree. They are also not registered. They are at East Legon. Then Lupita Collection. They are also not registered and at East Legon. Then we came to Limpa Fabrics and Accessories and more. They are also not registered. And then we are at Precious Fabrics. They are also non-compliant. They are registered, but they are not issuing the invoice. Then Sheets and Towels Enterprise. They are also not registered. So, we have visited 10 places. We went to 10 places, but one is registered and is compliant. That is Pistics. What is the next? Fashion. Pistics Fashion. They are registered and they are very compliant. So kudos to them.
That has been the challenge over the years, because this is like a developed area, and many of them are not registered or they are not issuing the VAT. What has been the challenge? Have you identified any?
Yeah, it's quite disturbing that you were with us. We went to just a small area and you realize that many of them are not registered. It's an issue we need to tackle. So what we will have to do is, every area has our office, what we call the TSC, who are responsible for the area. So what we need to do is to probably get the TSC, who is responsible for East Legon, to really lace its boots, so that they will make sure that things are done and are done well.
To agriculture now, and government has been encouraged to establish an agricultural insurance fund to increase insurance coverage in the agriculture space. Policy Officer at AGRA, Dr. Dorothy Afa, emphasized the need for government to devise alternatives in generating revenue for the fund and not burdening the average Ghanaian with more levies. She spoke at a media soiree organized by AGRA.
Agricultural insurance is not widespread in West Africa. It's less than 5% of farmers having access to agricultural insurance products. The concept is relatively new in Ghana, with a meagerly percentage signed onto a policy. Policy Officer at AGRA, Dr. Dorothy Ifa, believes the best way to remedy this is to establish an agricultural insurance fund.
The law that has been amended by Parliament, that is what they are saying, that if you say that you are going to do agricultural insurance, then make sure you establish an agricultural insurance fund. And how this is going to be established, the fund, not necessarily it could be a levy, but it could even, that in National Insurance Commission gets money from if you insure your car. So perhaps the money that goes to NIC, they can charge perhaps 0.02% should be put into agricultural insurance. But this is something that will go through Parliament for them to establish. Because right now, I was even telling people that right now, our present situation, the window is not really conducive to pushing something like a levy on agricultural insurance because of already the tax burden that our nation is going through.
AGRA recently launched its strategy 3.0. Program Officer at AGRA, Bashiru Musa, gave a breakdown of how his outfit helped farmers to gain access to markets under the first and second strategies.
The plan of that project was to basically support some processors. The lead processors, there were about 4 of them under the rice, who were basically processors around the southern part of Ghana and then the northern part of Ghana, to be able to offtake from the farmers. Now, what is very pathetic is that if a farmer produces and he has no option, he has no place to sell, you can be, best assured that the following year round, he's either going to switch to a different crop, or he may not even produce at all, or produce, a very small quantity that cannot be taken to the market. So we use the project to really leverage a lot of market opportunities for our farmers. And the farmers were very grateful. Now, when we started with the registration, some of them were like, no, I don't want to be part of the project. But by the second year, we had moved from registering over 30,000 farmers to 110,000 farmers across the rice-producing regions in Ghana.
Meanwhile, government launched the Ghana Agricultural Insurance Program in 2011.
Now, Managing Director of Hollard Insurance, Daniel Boy Ado, has indicated that the insurance industry has recorded some marginal growth in the past few months. According to him, the company is employing strategies to increase insurance penetration in the country. He was speaking at the launch of the Hollard Insure Park.
Hollard Insurance, in partnership with Vivo Energy, has launched the Hollard Insure Pack, which brings instant motor insurance directly to customers at Shell fuel stations nationwide. The product allows customers to purchase motor insurance for all types of vehicles and motorbikes. According to the Managing Director of Hollard Insurance, Daniel Boy Ado, they are working to increase insurance coverage in the country.
The industry is growing. I mean, if you compare where we are now to where we were 10 years ago, there's a significant difference. However, there's still a lot of distance to be cleared. Still, penetration is around 1%, and it's been so for the last few years. However, in the last few years, if you would note, there's been a lot of innovation in the insurance space, all aimed at solving the accessibility problem. I mean, hopefully in the future, everyone will have an insurance or access to an insurance product very close to wherever they want it. Traditionally, we've always sold insurance in insurance halls, or if you needed insurance, you had to contact your broker or your intermediary. It was always a laborious process getting insurance. What we are saying is that this is the 21st century. We should move from that way of selling insurance. So we've packaged insurance, motor insurance, and we are selling it at a Vivo shop near to you.
Corporate Communications Manager at Vivo Energy, Shirley Tony Kim, reiterated the company's commitment towards ensuring the well-being of their customers.
As a company that really values the health and safety of its people, we are excited about the fact that our customers, when they come to our stations, are actually insured and protected on the go. So we believe that it's a great partnership, and we look forward to more future partnership with other institutions, including Hollard, to bring in more offers to our customers.
The Hollard Insure Pack is a cutting-edge product that allows customers to purchase a motor insurance policy immediately and electronically.
The challenges posed by climate change, food demand, and decreasing arable land have inspired the need for the use of sustainable machinery to increase farming efficiency and productivity. In the fourth edition of the Energy Commission Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Challenge, Sugakope SHS and Kwabre SHS won the northern and southern zones respectively for their interventions to improve sustainable agricultural practices. This progresses them to the national challenge, with 4 more schools later in October. Clinton Yaboa has more in the following report.
The Senior High Schools Renewable Energy Resources Challenge is under the Energy Commission's mandate to promote the use of renewable energy. The challenge aims to develop the research skills of senior high school students and promote technological innovation in renewable energy and energy efficiency. The challenge aims to promote the efficient use of renewable energy resources through public education, training and regulation of entrepreneurs in the sector. The 14th edition was themed Mechanized Small-Scale Agriculture Using Renewable Energy Technologies. Sugakope SHS beat 7 schools with their invention of a multi-purpose farm vehicle for sowing, harrowing and spraying to win the Southern Zone competition. Kwabre SHS, with their invention of solar-powered mechanized knapsack sprayer, also beat 7 schools to win the Northern Zone competition.
Families today, everyone complaining about using the cutlass and then the hoe. So we are trying to mechanize all these things so that they bring their interest into the sector. That is why we develop our 5-in-1 mechanized agriculture. Therefore, with this machine, you just press a button, something happens in the farm. So there's no manual work with our machine. So you just relax and then operate. When you look at the small scale as compared to the commercial agriculture, the large scale agriculture, you said as small scale, mostly they depend on nasal sprayer or the manual sprayer, which easily have so many effects on the operator's back. So our team sat down so that we can mechanize that nasal sprayer for it to operate on the farm, to make farm timeless and also easy for the operator to operate.
Ashanti Regional Director of Education, Williams Amankra, is pleased the challenge will help improve the agricultural activities of the country.
Since when did we get cocoa? How many years now? Over 100 years. The old system from the tree to bagging of the cocoa. One of the problems that we have is post harvest loss. The babadier, we know babadier. Too poor. It won't take us anywhere. The little thing that they learn, let us domesticate it. Let us use our hand in producing them. Now, I've seen mechanized agriculture small scale there. It's a nice program. Please, let us give it the noise that it deserves.
Director of Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency at the Energy Commission, Dr. Kufie Jako, said the schools will be supported to patent their technologies for commercialization.
The Energy Commission will take the additional steps of ensuring that the school will also have the patent right to that technology. Yes, because once we succeed in bringing those projects to commercial status, and is able to catch the market, I mean, the end results will be revenue. We want to make impact, change the landscape of the senior high schools when it comes to revenue mobilization.
Sugakope SHS, Yasantua Girls SHS, and Infansipim SHS from the Southern Zone will join Kwabre SHS, Toma SHS, and Sewa Kese Girls SHS from the Northern at the grand finale of the challenge in October. From the 16th regions, 125 schools participated in the Renewable Energy Challenge. Reporting for Joy News, Clinton Yeboah.
That's all for business. We have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. I leave you with news making headlines on the international front.